My name is Ian Giraini, well known as Talk to Captain Ian, a pilot and a motivational influencer who likes to communicate, to reach out to young people who are losing their way, who are not finding themselves, who do not understand themselves, and remind them, or some of them even show them, who they're supposed to be and how to go about it. Hello and welcome to Talk to Captain Ian Motivational and Inspirational Corner. Today we talk about change. Hello, I'm up here cruising at about 9,500 feet and some motivation from up here. Money, money, money. Described as the necessary evil. I'm 26 years of age. I am blessed to actually have known myself early in life and to realize what my gifts and talents were or are, and using them, most importantly, for the benefit not only for myself but for other people. That is Talk to Captain Ian, and I will continue with that till that day God called me home. Yeah. I was born and brought up in Oloitoktok in Kajiado County. I remember those days. I get nostalgic at times. I mean, I was not from a very rich family. It's actually a very humble background. Went to a school there at the foot of Mount Kilimanjaro. Did all my primary education there, then later moved to Nairobi, a school called Brookshine School. A lot of us are finding it difficult to deal with the hurdles, the disappointments life brings to us. They seem unending, and for sure they are difficult, and no one will lie that it is easy or a click of a finger to get rid of them. But I will advise you that you should take a moment each and every day, some alone time, and appreciate the small good things that have been happening in your life. So in primary school is when I realized my leadership skills. I was a Scouts commander. I don't know why I was selected. Somebody believed in me actually and saw something in me, and they decided I was going to be a Scouts commander. At that time it was a big deal. Then later became the school, actually I was assistant head boy in class 7 all the way into class 8. Such a big deal for me. I remember once, I never knew I had this ability to speak. And in class 8 I remember during prayer day before our KCPE, I was asked to speak, and I was trembling and shivering. I was like, whoa, I mean, why would you ask me to speak? A teacher just came and said, Ian, I want you to speak. And I remember it was very tough. I remember I mumbled some words, and he told me there is something you need to work on. I left it there. So I went to high school in Brookshine School. It is along Kangundu Road. So in Form 1, I was a very prayerful young man. I got born again in class 7. That is back in 2003. And I was very prayerful, and I used to preach. I started preaching in Form 1, preaching to people a lot. And I remember Form 4s used to say, hey, huyu hatuwezi mshika, huyu ni pastor, tutapigwa na radi. It was very interesting because I earned lots of respect from preaching. And by preaching is when I realized I had the gift of speaking. And I started using it to motivate other people, to encourage them when they felt they need encouragement. In Form 2, because of what I used to do, correction. In Form 1, I was given a very high post. I was the assistant environment prefect. Such a big deal. Form 1, second term. Such a big deal for me. And I was shocked. I was getting favors from God, through people. In Form 2, I became assistant school captain, and I continued, working, and I thrived with responsibilities, I must say. Continuing, so I used to do my responsibilities, being very careful with my education. I used to do very well in school as well, and also I had to work on my gifts and talent that God gave me to speak, to encourage, to motivate. And in Form 3, I became school captain. I remember we did very well that time in terms of taking the school to the next level in terms of functions and in terms of education as well. So I thrived both in leadership and in books. And in Form 4, I cleared with a B+. That's the story of my education, actually, from primary to high school. I was raised by a single mom. It was a huge struggle for her, but she did a fantastic job bringing up this very responsible young man. I always say my mom is my mentor. I can never have a picture of anybody else in the world before I have my mom's picture on the wall, because she encouraged me and she listened to me. Now listen to this. When I cleared high school in Form 4, I was, I remember I said I wanted to be a pilot, but the cost of being a pilot was very high. I needed about 5 million Kenyan shillings. My mom could not raise that kind of money. I remember her telling me, okay, are you sure that this is what you want? And I told her, yes, I'm sure. A lot of people, including her brothers, her mentors, the people she worked for, my mentors, told her that she should not listen to me and take me just to the university and disregard my ambition. My mom, by herself, decided she was going to support me. Such a big deal. The first year, I was completely lost, and you know, I felt hopeless because I saw there was no cash. And she decided, you know what, she's going to take a loan to do in flying. There are different licenses. So you have to start with the first one called the private pilot's license, then the second one called commercial pilot's license, and then the last one is actually more of a rating called a multi-engine rating. And the first one was about 1 million shillings. So she got the loan, different places, and I managed to clear the first license. Tough job was now. Where were we going to get money for the second license? 3.5 million Kenyan shillings. Now that was a big deal. So that time, I remember, is where I completely broke, because she had to leave Kenya to go to Germany to, you know, find greener pastures there to raise money for me. And I remember that time I was in Wilson thinking of how I was going to make it. And at that point, and I like telling lots of young people this, at that point, as much as I felt lost, I felt I needed to do something. I needed to do something for my life, because I knew inside me is greatness. I just need to nurture it. I need to believe in myself. And I never left God. I used to pray and fast so much. Even though that first year when I was hopeless, I remember I backed off from my spiritual realm. And I was like, whoa, Ian, you need to get back. No wonder you're failing. No wonder you're not achieving what you're supposed to achieve. So she left for Germany. I went back to the school that I worked for. And I asked them, could you please kindly give me a job? Even if it takes me 10 years to finish my commercial, please give me a job and then fund for my commercial pilot's license. And they said, no, we can't help you for now. It was sad. I remember taking my CV. With only a private pilot's license, you really could not get a job. But I said, you know what? I am going to take my CV, even though I'm not qualified, to all these companies in Wilson to see if I can get a job. I did. No one called me. I went desolate, broken, back to Amboseli National Park, because I used to stay there a lot. And 2 weeks later, the school that I asked, the one actually that I did my course, that's the first license, private pilot's license, and also the ones I had asked to help me when it comes to giving me a job to fund for my commercial pilot's license, called me. And they're like, Ian, come, we have something for you. I remember when I went back, I was very happy, and I wanted to know, what is this? I was just 18 at the time. And he told me, Ian, I want you to do anything and anything in this company. Your main job is going to be scheduling, but you're going to be an errand boy. Whatever we tell you to do, you do. You have to be here 6:30 a.m. Sometimes you'll have to leave very late. I was like, I'm going to do it. I don't care how old I am. I have to be responsible. And I did it. So he offered me the job, initially no pay. I used to work very long hours because I wanted to, not because I was forced to, because I knew the end game was me becoming that pilot I have always dreamt of. You know, I used to see planes and I used to get goosebumps. Oh my, those times. And I worked and worked for about 2 years. In there, they saw how responsible I was, and they decided to pay me some money. And then I was called and I was told, listen, we're going to give you some money, some we're going to save it for your flying. And if I did the calculations by what they were paying me, that time I was earning 15,000 a month, and then they used to put about 40,000 in my account just to accumulate for my flying. It needed me to work in that company more than 10 years to achieve the money for my commercial pilot's license. Can you imagine? And I said, yes, I'm going to do it. So I did it for 2 years. And I remember that time. And it's something I like encouraging people with. As much as I felt I was meant for greater things, I was a factotum. A factotum is anyone who does anything and anything in a company. Not even a rank and file kind of an employee. And I told myself, as much as you're great, as much as you're meant to achieve greatness, Ian, continue doing this. Something will come up. And I prayed. I fasted, I believed in myself, continued using my gift. Now listen to this. I never used to dress like just any other person. I used to dress like the pilot I always wanted to be. That is the most interesting part. When people are like, hey, you're doing all this job and why are you dressing so sharply? I'm like, because I know what I want to be. I know what I want to achieve. And this reminds me every time my dress code that I am going to become that pilot. Remember, my dad was not in my life. So 2 years later, 2.5 years, as I continued doing this job, very tough. I never used to have a social life per se. And he came to Wilson, and he said, I want to see you. I remember some time back I asked him, can you help me? Can you help me get the cash? And he's like, no, I have other responsibilities. And for sure, because he was not in my life, I could not force him, and for sure he was not obligated to pay for my fees. So he came and asked me what I did, and I explained to him, and he was like, do you work all those hours? And I said, yes. How? I told him I just do it, and because I really want to be a pilot. He's like, why don't you want to join the university? I'm like, I don't have a course I feel that I'll go do that will help me achieve what I want to achieve. And he decided to go see my bosses at work. So he came in and told how dedicated of a young person I was. At the time, now I was almost turning 20, yeah. And he was told how dedicated I was. And I think it touched him. So I don't know, he left, so I never expected anything from him. Now here's the most interesting part. The wife of my dad, I've never met her, because he had another family, called me and told me, hey, Ian, how are you? This is your dad's wife, and I've heard about you, I've heard about your struggles, and I want you to come and see me. Now this is tough. I mean, we all know this is going to be tough. I have a mom, and somebody has called me and said, do you want to see me? It was very tough. I remember I asked many people, do I go? What will happen? Yeah, all the African stories about, and I'll not go deep into that. And I remember I called my mom in Germany, and she told me, Ian, I believe in you. You're responsible enough to make that decision, but be careful. What the story I love about my mom? She encouraged me, and she made me, toughen up and make decisions on my own. Now, obviously, helping me out in some of the things she felt I did wrong. And I decided I was going to meet her. I mean, what's the worst thing that can happen? I am really struggling in life. What can really go wrong? Let me go. So I remember when to meet her at Feather Estate, and she was very happy to see me and very shocked that I looked like my dad a lot. And we ate. I was still very nervous. And at the end of the conversation, she gave me a check of 800,000. Ha! That shocked me. That I was like, what? I cried. She didn't see my tears, but by myself. 800,000. And she told me, listen, when that ends, just tell me actually, I'll give you more checks until you finish your course. I went back to my boss and told him, listen, I'm continuing with my flying, and they could not believe. Where did you get the money? Tell them the story. They were very happy for me. So I cleared my commercial pilot's license. When the 800 got over, she got me another check, and until I finished all 3.5 million Kenyan shillings. And the company I worked for actually offered me the position as a flight instructor to work for them. And I remember when I finished the courses, I never quit. You see, this is the thing about young people. No, never see yourself as too important for some things. As much as I finished the courses, I continued doing what I was doing. Imagine, I finished, I was qualified, I could apply for any job, but I continued doing what I was doing because I had the opportunity to become a flight instructor. I love teaching. Till then, I love teaching. And they gave me that opportunity. Now, look at this. My career, my pursuit for happiness, my pursuit for this flying career made me get closer to my dad, know his family, love them so much. My mom came back from Germany. They're like sisters with this lady. Yes, so right now I say I'm lucky to have two moms in my life, something that I have not seen personally in the African culture. And I am so close with them. They are my brothers and sisters. My dad is now my dad. It's not just somebody I say I have a father out there we have a great relationship with. And this pursuit for my career brought my family together so much more than ever before, with so much love. So this story I like sharing with young people to encourage them and tell them, listen, whatever you're going through is for a reason, and it's just for a season. Don't make permanent decisions for a temporary state, for a temporary season. From that story, it is important to know yourself, because the only way to succeed is by what God has given you, your talents and gifts and your destiny, and you can only know that from Him. When I was 22 years old, I became a flight instructor, and when I was 22 turning 23, and that's when my breakthrough came, and I was shocked. I used to earn 15,000 a month, and then the check went up, way up there. And as a pilot, yeah, things are good in that side. That's when the breakthrough came in, and it never changed me. There are lots of cases where you hear money changed a person, or power changed a person, or a certain lifestyle changed a person. I normally say, people don't change. They manifest exactly what was hidden when the problems were there. They were probably very humble because of the issues they went through. But in there was the real person. Real, true characters of a person. Now listen to this. How is character formed? I normally say, watch your thoughts, for they become your words. Watch your words, for they become your actions. Watch your actions, for they become your habits. Watch your habits, for it becomes your character, or for they become your character. Watch your character, for it becomes your destiny. So there's a certain character that is hidden for some people. When they get their breakthrough, that's when you'll see the real people. They don't change, they just manifest the real selves. Character can be changed, but it needs a lot of work. And like I said, it starts from the thoughts. So when I got my breakthrough, I remained to be humble, did the same things I used to do, made the same friends. I'm a very social person, I say hi to people. If I feel someone needs help, I go for it. Now, when I got the breakthrough, remember, back then in high school, I used to have the ability to speak, encourage. I did not use it for some time. Even though, just before I got my breakthrough, I remember I used to try and MC functions at schools, and I was very good at it. But I never used my gifts of speaking. So after I got my breakthrough, I did not forget God. No. I remember I fasted to say thank you. A lot of people fast for problems, but I remember that's the first time I fasted, actually, not because I had an issue, just to say thank you, God. And He reminded me, because God speaks through people, speaks through subconscious, speaks in different ways. He reminded me, Ian, I gave you a gift. You've achieved your career, but your gift is different from that. You have to continue encouraging people. You have the gift of speaking. Do it. So I remember one time I was seated and I was doing very well in my career, and I decided, Ian, it is time to look for ways to reach out to young people. Now initially I thought, a lot, and this is the mentality with the young people, that you need to start up there. Hey, that's very wrong. You have to start down there and build yourself step by step. Don't try and leap so high for great things. Just step by step. And I wanted to meet these famous people to help me use my gift and talent. And again, God reminded me, start small. So I started a Facebook page called Talk to Captain Ian, where I used to, rather I still do, shoot small videos or short videos to encourage, to talk about issues that affect day-to-day livelihood of the youth. And I still do it. I am so passionate about the young people. I'm sitting here because I'm so passionate about them, not because of my flying career. Even though I use that to show them that it can happen, that it can be achieved. That me at 26 right now, where I am, I couldn't. If somebody told me I will be here 4 years, 5 years ago, I will look at them and probably laugh. Because one of the greatest misconceptions in life is your dreams must be realistic. I normally disagree with that so much. If you look at yourself 5 years back, it's not, and somebody told you you'll be where you are, it's not realistic. It doesn't look realistic. So as long as it's inborn, it can be materialized. As long as it's inborn, it can be achieved. Your dreams and visions are never meant to be something that can be achievable at that point when you're having them. This a dream. When God gives you a dream, a vision, it's something way up there. When Moses was told to go liberate the people of Israel, Moses was like, who, me, a stammerer? You can't believe it. It doesn't seem realistic. So as long as God has chosen you for something, you can achieve it. There's nothing like being realistic. Not at all. Being a pilot is a very, how do I put it? It gives you this adrenaline, because it makes you very happy, especially if it was your ambition. And the process to being a pilot and all the things that you have to achieve is very exhilarating, because at some point you have to do what you call your first solo in your first license. So you've been flying with a flight instructor, and then you have to be released by yourself. It's very exhilarating, and you're there with adrenaline. First time you're alone in the aircraft, then later you're learning how to fly at night, flying only with sole reference to instruments. It's an amazing thing, and I love heights. I love visiting different places in Kenya up there. By the way, the view up there, is so different. It's amazing. Yeah. Yeah. It is very important to plan yourself. It's very important to have time for everything, including social life. Very important. I like telling people, you know, for you to thrive professionally, you need to check your social life. If you mess up socially, it will mess up your professional life. So it is good to plan all this stuff. Co-curricular activities, very important, because they strengthen you, they help you. Things that meeting up with friends helps you. You know, you get these hormones that are called feel-good hormones that help you. And these are always pushed all the way to professional level. So as a pilot, the schedule is tight, yes. Sometimes you have very early morning flights, sometimes you have a very late flight, and some good days you have no flight at all, so you're just sitting at home and doing other things. So what we do, because we have a schedule, you know, a 1 month schedule, so you'll see, and then also you have off days in between there. It is not as tough as before, when I used to wake up at 6:30 and leave Wilson at 8:30. You know, one of the weirdest things I discovered in life, the people who struggle are the ones who work the most. They really work a lot. The more you succeed and the more you achieve the things that you're supposed to achieve, things get a bit more relaxed and cool. And that's why you have to, you know, struggle initially. But when you get there, you enjoy the fruit. So yeah, sometimes very heavy days, sometimes relaxed days. And when I have those relaxed days is when I like go visiting young people in churches, in schools, and talking to them in youth conferences, talking to them and you know, giving them a little bit of word of advice. I was shocked at the number of people I actually impact their lives. I was very shocked. I mean, I never knew that. When I meet people and they tell me, you know, your Facebook page helps me, your Facebook page does this. Or when I talk to them, they're like, you know, I've changed, and then I'm going to change my approach. I'm going to have a paradigm shift in what I've been doing and change things in my life. You know, I get very encouraged, because you go to talk to a group of 100 young people, 10 come to you and tell you how much you've changed their lives, and they don't even ask for anything. That fulfills me a lot. So I plan for all these things. I plan for the times to go to speak to young people. I have time to fly. Very important, I have time for my social life. I love basketball. I have time to play basketball. It is not difficult to manage all this. You just need to know when and the where. It's important to know, or rather, it's important to do the right thing at the right time at the right place. You can do the right thing at the wrong place. So it's important to, you know, balance all this. And planning, very important to plan yourself, plan your days. Every minute counts, and it will continue ticking. You're getting older, so you need to use your time properly. So I like having that in mind, not wasting time. To me, when I'm doing my social stuff, meeting with friends, I know this is important. I need to laugh, I need to catch up, it's important, you know. But I don't overdo it. Everything, I don't overdo it. Even your professional life, don't overdo it. It will stress you. Everything must be done in moderation. There is something about us Christians we need to get right. I noticed it with myself and with other people, and I had to correct it. We say that we put our faith and trust in the Lord, but we do not act like it. Focus. That name, discipline, I love it. If you're focused, now what do we mean by focus? You know, we like saying, if you're, you know, you gotta be focused in life, but focused to what? You must have an end game, and you must have something you're looking forward to. And this something is what you want to achieve in life. Now, before I explain that more, I feel very sad when I see young people saying that they want to have a lot of money someday in life. I'm like, so is that your target? And they're like, yeah. What do you mean? You know, you cannot make so much money if you have no target. You know, if you have nothing, if what you're supposed to be doing is not inbound. For example, flying, the salary is very good. But if you say, I'm going to do flying for the salary, you are up to fail. Joseph was shown his value and what he was going to be in a dream 12 years of age, isn't it? And he achieved it in the end. We're always shown, we always get a glimpse. How? We know, this is what I love. This is my target. I'm going to go for it, but it is you to decide. Now, that makes you valuable. When you start using your gifts and talents, you become valuable. And that's when money starts following you, because you start getting very good at it. Initially, you start not very good at it, and then you get good at it, and money starts following you. Then you will know what will throw you off course. So, those so much. So, Ian is just a young man who has great ambitions. A young man, very focused, a young man who knows what he wants in life. And I love having fun, but in the right way. I have a girlfriend. I'm hoping things will escalate with her. Um, sure, that's my plan, and I can't wait to actually have a family and settle down and you know, be a man of a family. You know, it's very important to get such a responsibility and procreate because God said fill the earth. Yeah, okay, I'll not feel it. That's probably a few of them, but yeah, I can't wait for it actually.